Итак, здравствуйте, дорогие подписчики и зрители канала. Меня зовут Александр, и сегодня мы играем в Genshin. Не простой Genshin, а проходим миссию нашего любимого с вами дедушки. А именно бывшего, ну или нынешнего, как вам угодно, архонта Земли. И про ёбаных денег. Очень жалко, что квест его не озвучен. Так, давайте соблюдать правила. Странно, но в квесте героя обычно все озвучено. Здесь для меня это удивление. Я понимаю, там какой-то еле сюжетный мировой квест, да. А вот это вот. Угу. То есть, если меня пригласили... Я знаю, у кого взять это письмо. Или я... С кем? С Тюге? Дед, ты чё? Не ожидал тебя видеть здесь.
Are these two your friends?
Это ваши друзья?
Yes, we had the fortune of meeting not too long ago. They are quite a knowledgeable and talented pair, and a pleasure to be around. Traveler, we were just discussing the history of Rex Lapis. Would you like to listen?
Да, то есть они не знают, что ты архон, да?
Sir seems not to appreciate the almighty power of the Lord of Geo. As a professional archaeologist, I'm inclined to correct some of his erroneous.
Короче, они не знают.
Of the first Mora.
The first Mora?
As everyone knows, the Lord of Geo taught the ancient people of Liyue the craft of smelting, creating goods that allowed them to develop trade with the early nations of that time. Today, Liyue holds the sole right to cast Mora in the entire continent of Teyvat. The world's very first Mora should have been cast by
Мне интересно услышать мнение нашего архонта. Анонимного архонта.
According to my research, as well as my own hypothesis, I believe that this coin of unique historical significance has been passed down secretly through the years as a kind of token. For example, perhaps the Qixing who control the Liyue use it in some kind of unknown ceremony they hold when they come to power.
No. My research indicates that the first Mora.
Наверное, ему очень смешно за этим всем наблюдать.
Mora is a catalyst. This we all know. Even today, Mora is used in the mystic arts for its curious properties of weapon enhancement. The world's first Mora would no doubt possess the strongest power. My next historical treatise will boldly expound on the newest findings from my intense decade-long research. That is, that the Lord of Geo used this original Mora as a catalyst to enhance a dagger and a sword.
Для усиления это как?
Well, buy the book when it comes out to read the full story. For now, I will only reveal this. The one who finds the dagger shall become supreme in Liyue. And the one who finds the sword may be crowned Liyue's sovereign.
I can't say I agree.
Ну-ка.
Let us not speak of the authenticity of the dagger and sword first. But Mora and money came about simply because they are a convenient measure of a contract.
Ну да, видите, люди просто себе напридумывали.
It's just meant for Mora to serve as a catalyst for people to exchange and trade. The world's first Mora is probably just an ordinary coin created by Rex Lapis.
Он правильно делает, что их на землю всех опускает. Этих важных шишек.
It was simply spent somewhere.
I think that Mr. Hanshua's hypothesis seems reasonable. Mr. Zhongli's argument, on the other hand, lacks any evidence. How can you so easily dismiss the Lord of Geo's profound foresight?
No, I am not debating right or wrong. I am simply stating a fact.
Enough! Do you think you understand the Lord of Geo more than me?
I know but little about history, and I wouldn't dare to brag. But discussion is meaningless if everyone has the same opinion, no?
Well then, answer me this. Long ago, when Liyue Harbor was being constructed, the Lord of Geo taught the people how to build houses. The model home he used to teach them was completely cast from Mora,
Ну-ка давай,
correct?
рассказывай.
That is correct.
Да, все
indeed.
правильно.
Okay, then tell me. Why would the Lord of Geo do something so extravagant, if not because of the mystical power that Mora contains?
There's a simple explanation, really. To the god of wealth and commerce, what material is
Да.
easier to get than Mora?
Oh,
I mean, I am talking
Да, это
about
ты.
Rex Lapis.
Ну, они не хотят, ну, вернее, он не хочет, чтобы они знали.
I have some questions about archaeology. Can we find somewhere quiet to chat? I mean, if it's okay with you.
Oh, it's no problem at all. But may my friend accompany us? Perhaps they could be of some help.
Of course. They can come if that's what pleases you, sir. Let's go.
Все-таки озвучено. Просто эта баба хотела до нас докопаться.
What I'm about to say is a bit disrespectful of the Lord of Geo and would draw a lot of angry looks.
А, то есть
So
ты не
it's best to
почпокаться его
discuss this
позвала, да?
somewhere quiet. Your argument just now exhibited acuteness of speech and thought. Most importantly, you don't fall for the boasting and acting of the others. You remain objective. So I have a question for you. Perhaps you will answer differently from other scholars. Do you think that all the gods that the Geo Archon killed were evil?
Let's not analyze it in terms of good versus evil. Rex Lapis placed great importance on the integrity of contracts. So any god
То есть он просто так не
certainly
убивал.
must have
То
broken
есть
some kind of contract.
нарушали договор, тогда он и лез в драку.
Geo wouldn't kill the innocent. But when I was doing some research, I learned about the legend of the god of salt.
Архон
The
соли?
god of salt, Havria, was a very kind god. But she encountered Morax one day
Нифига
in
себе.
battle.
Она была доброй.
Morax used a rather underhanded trick to assassinate her. What? No way!
Давай колись.
This bit of history is a long story. But you may not like the truth when you hear it.
Don't worry, please tell me what you know. This event, I've already searched for answers.
Quite so.
Давай начинаем, мы тебя
Don't know
ждем.
where to begin.
Over here, Mr. Zhongli. I've been looking for you. So you're
Путуй.
over here.
Put down your weapon and stay back. Otherwise, Paimon's reporting you to the Millilith.
First of all, I'm not holding a weapon. There's no need to overreact now. I'm simply an archaeological researcher from Snezhnaya. I'm not here for trouble.
The Fatui say that every time.
But this time, I registered with the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs. I could show you the official documentation if you want to see it. I will be conducting an archaeological survey here, the results of which will all be shared with the ministry. I heard that Wangsheng Funeral Parlor had a consultant named Zhang Li, with immense knowledge of ancient history and archaeology. So I paid Wangsheng Funeral Parlor a handsome amount to hire Zhang Li as my own consultant while I'm in town.
So you mean to say that this is work for the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor, yes? Well, since it's work,
Я заметил,
I
что
don't have
даже
a
на
choice.
английской озвучке
Consultant of the Wangsheng
Патуи
Funeral
называет
Parlor
свое
must
место
respect
по-русски.
their duty.
Это тупо
Of course
Россия,
you would be
короче.
such a
Сибирь
reasonable
какая-нибудь.
man. Well then, let's head out now, shall we?
Wait, if you are studying archaeology, can I go too? I am also a scholar in this field, so I
Будем
can
тебя
help.
по кругу пускать.
That will give us a chance to continue the topic we were just discussing. Oh, and you should tag along too. This experience may be of help to you on your future adventures.
Какой же ты классный.
It is a story from before the rise of the Seven. Although the god of salt has already perished, it will still be a meaningful experience for your journey.
Давай рассказывай.
Wait, this is an archaeological expedition, not a tour group.
Я пойду с тобой куда угодно, только не на ледяные горы, пожалуйста.
Surpassed by no one. It will surely be of great help to us.
Oh? What talent?
If my friend espies a treasure chest, they will absolutely find a way to open it.
Hey, Paimon's good at that too!
Ха.
Well, that is quite enticing.
Да, будет так.
Well, let's go. There's no time to waste. When the overlord of the vortex was crushed by the Jade Chamber recently, perhaps something of interest was washed ashore. An ancient artifact would be good. Traces of ancient activity would be great. But a piece
Ну, 100 пудов надо будет драться с этим Фатуи. Я в этом почти уверен. Ну-ка. Ха. Теперь обратно. Остатки вихря. Хотели меня подколоть, а у меня там телепорт остался, между прочим. Такой удобный весь из себя.
This place looks so ordinary. Can we really find anything valuable here?
Наверное.
Huh? Paimon thinks it looks really grand.
I don't mean the scenery, but rather that there should be something out of the ordinary. A big battle did just occur and all, and I don't even know where to begin looking here.
Ты явно всю жизнь просидел в офисе.
Guyan Stone Forest is actually the perfect place to be, if you wish to learn about the gods or the history of the Archon War. Legend has it that Rex Lapis threw spears made of large rock into the sea here, piercing and crushing the overlord of the vortex. After many years of wind erosion, those stone spears have turned into the unique rock formations we see now.
These mountains were the Lord of Geo's weapons?
What we see
Тебе об этом
now
уже
is
говорили.
just the part of them that remains. The stone spears hurled by Rex Lapis all those years ago were much greater, both in number and in size. But due to the different angles they landed at, their large centers of mass, erosion by seawater, and years
Нифига
of
себе.
gravity, many of them have been completely swallowed by the sea. So besides wind erosion, the initial collapsing of the stone spears also played a big part in the formation of Guyan Stone Forest.
Well, a god able to fight one so powerful as Rex Lapis was certainly very strong in its own right.
Indeed. This is where the value lies in research at Guyan Stone Forest. Most of the objects from that time were lost to the sea. But the gigantic waves created by the overlord of the vortex have given those sunken
Давайте
objects a
искать, может
chance
быть,
to see
что-нибудь
the light
интересное
of day
найдем.
again.
Там стопудов какие-то механизмы будут. Да ты нас предашь сразу. Нашлешь на меня своих фатуй, там, не знаю, статуй.
Since we brought so many people, I think it would be best to split up and look.
Okay then, I will go with my friend here. Although I have a smattering of knowledge in various disciplines, when it comes to archaeology, I can't compete with the expert here.
Huh? Me?
What's the matter?
Возможно.
This is your profession. Why are you so surprised?
I get it. I'll
Я вам
escort
сейчас
him.
покажу кое-что. Интересненько.
Okay. If we find anything valuable or rare, let's meet on the shore opposite from here. The ancient god probably left behind lots of elemental marks. Following them should make
Там
our
додики,
search
да?
much easier.
Давайте их сделаем сейчас.
Use your elemental sight to look for
Что, у меня хп мало. Странно. Ой, лучники. Как мне повезло с вами, ребят.
Oz, reveal thyself.
Так вот. Ибо нефиг. Слышу. Где еще желающие? Что-то с них так ничего не упало нормального. Ну, печально как-то.
Midnight Phantasmagoria. Dodge this.
Так, вы тоже мешаете немножко. А, это и есть сокровище. То есть все запланировано, да? А типа с квестовых монстров ничего хорошего не выпадает. Меня это бесит просто, ребят. Подставы. «71». Вот это да, 71 аж. Сразу, чтобы тебя вырубить нахер.
Stone Forest is a place where a god was defeated, and its remnants still affect the area to this day.
Что это? Куда ты спишь-то? Проснулся, смотри. Предлагаю подлечиться немножко. Ну, супчиком. Ну, понемножку еще восстанавливать, смотри. Вот так вот. И вот. Тут твою мать, кидай всю свою штуку. Дрюку. Смотри, 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 этот. Додик атакует. Баба. Ой, слушай, упала. Хорошо, что пожаловался на них. А, там эти просто не смотри еще. Не боняйся. Все. Успокоился. По-моему, успокоился. Понятно, вот там вот. Надо, наверное, сначала этих убить. Ой-ой-ой, сейчас сдохнем. В смысле, иммунитет у вас? Что за херня? Все? Нет больше иммунитета, да? Что такое? Откуда мимики тут? Они жесткие. Же эти, блин. Ну похер на воду, короче. Ну не слабее, по-моему, как чем на боссе. Ну капец, ты чё? А почему я не могу за этого играть? Если он на ухо нам болтает, а? Интересно. Ой-ой-ой. Капец, он задел... Это чё, как настоящий босс? Вы чё, я специально его не прохожу постоянно. Потому что меня бесит этот босс. Нельзя так делать, ребят. Прикол, что ли, такой? На, все, успокойся. Прям понял, точно. Тихо. Ну хотя бы так. Лучше, чем 3 волны, да, или 4. Ракушка, чисто все собираем. Какой быстрый краб оказался. Ой, фатуй, что ли? Нету двуручника, почему?
You call yourself a scholar of archaeology? You can't even recognize this or that. What are you good for?
We all have our areas of expertise. I already tried very hard to explain.
Oh, stop arguing! What in the world happened?
This girl just keeps bragging about how she's an archaeologist, but she doesn't even know anything about the surrounding ruins. I even know more than her. She left me to rely solely on guessing, I mean experience, to find anything valuable to take back. Oh, what a waste of time.
I've just been researching the god of salt, so I'm not familiar with sea relics. Is that so strange? And you kept asking about how much Mora
Да, они,
is
по-моему,
worth.
по-моему, они оба предатели какие-то, слышишь?
I mean, isn't measuring their value in Mora the easiest way?
Наверняка придется драться с ими обоими.
Does it not?
Now, calm down. No need to make a fuss.
Давайте изучим.
We were able to bring back some intriguing
Показывай.
objects. Let's have a look. Oh. What a shame. These objects were indeed washed ashore by the Overlord of the Vortex, but they have nothing to do with the god besides being in the vicinity at the time. This stone slab we found, however, has a mysterious pattern and faint aura of divine power. Perhaps it will be useful for research purposes.
Quick, give it to me. At least we didn't come for nothing. The power of the gods, yes! This is good. Oh, but these other objects are certainly worth a little something, right? It should be enough to cover the cost of hiring you.
В смысле, все твое.
So, it's only valuable for research if there are remnants of divine power on it?
Not at all. My quest to uncover the history of the god of salt is because history can tell us about culture and beliefs. But you're just trying to use archaeology to get rich.
Nonsense! I'm a professional archaeology researcher from Snezhnaya. I swear.
Oh, by the way, you probably don't want to sell that teacup.
Oh? Why's that?
That's not an ancient teacup. It's part of Ningguang's collection. It must have fallen here along with the Jade Chamber. So unless you want to mess with the cheesing...
Ah, I see. What a shame. It was of such high quality, too.
See? You do want to sell these objects!
But, so what? Why can't I pursue wealth both intellectual and material? Don't be so simple-minded. All right, then. No need to stay here any longer. I'm rather quite intrigued by the God of Salt, too, actually. Let's go to Saltarai next.
И куда? Соленые земли? Первый раз такое слышу, ребят. Там, наверное, босс сейчас будет, да, соленый какой-то. Солями же любят школьники баловаться. Там, короче, босс будет такой в Адидасе. Агрессивный школьник. А мы, кстати, только здесь, недавно здесь были, помните? Мы здесь проходили артерию земли. Ух ты.
I heard that Saltarai was once the home of the god of Salt's people. Therefore, there's sure to be loads of valuable relics nearby.
According to legend, the people of the god of salt, Havria, enjoyed prosperous lives under her protection. But this legend has been around for ages. With the countless scrap collectors and treasure hoarders in the area, there probably aren't many valuable things left here.
Oh, good. That's just great. If I knew it was picked this clean before, I wouldn't have come.
About that, I know there's a ruin deep in this cave here. It's related to the god of salt.
Сейчас, похоже, будем проходить данж соленый. Соленый данж, да?
However, the ruin entrance has been sealed by a mysterious power.
Но мы же сообразим, как ее разбить, правильно?
I found a mechanism that seemed to be related to the seal, but when I undid the mechanism,
Возможно, это должен сделать Архон, чтобы эта печать сломалась.
The seal's origin and how to break it are very important topics in my research. I don't know. There's no concrete evidence. But I'm pretty sure the seal is meant to hide some kind of long-forgotten truth. The god of salt was a benevolent god, adored by the people, not to mention powerful. She wouldn't have any kind of shameful secrets to hide. So, the one who wants to hide some truth is very possibly her killer, Morax.
This doesn't sound like something the Lord of Geo would do, though.
Who cares about all that? It sounds like countless treasures of the god of salt lie within this ruin, just waiting for someone to find them, right?
You weren't listening at all, were you? Even if there's a mountain of treasures inside, nobody can get in if the seal isn't broken.
Ah, but we have the illustrious Mr. Zhongli with us. He looks like he knows just about everything. A little seal shouldn't be any trouble for him.
This seal seems to be quite ancient. Even Mr. Zhongli may not know all of
Как раз таки он, скорее всего, знает ее секреты.
What?
Over the years, I've heard various rumors with bits of knowledge about seals. Although their references seem rather disorderly, they do in fact contain the secret to breaking seals. Let's go take a look at the mechanism Miss Wanyan just mentioned.
Okay, since Mr. Zhongli says so, follow me then.
Так опять мне мосты свои мастерить. Главное этих додиков опять не зацепить. Я вас уже убивал 2 часа назад. А, стоп, вы же не видели, как я артерии проходил? Точно. Я же не под запись-то сделал. Короче, я проходил артерии, чтобы немножко прокачать персонажей. Ну, шибись, мне сразу подсказку дали. Твою мать. Эти загадки могли быть интересными, если бы не подсказки.
This place seems familiar. Huh, I remember. I think there's some elemental monuments here. So you're saying they're related to all this? When I investigated the seal last time, I had someone with a vision but when we lit up all the elemental monuments, nothing happened.
That's because you don't just need to activate them at the same time, but in a certain order.
Типа вы не могли догадаться, да? По-разному попробовать, там все такое. Один раз не получилось, и вы все ушли.
Tianheng in the south, Yaoguang in the east, Jueyun in the west, Qingse in the north. All desolate and devoid of life. Liyue is vast, yet even one haven is hard to find.
To the north, to the east. Do the people of Liyue always talk in riddles?
I think I've heard this saying before.
Certainly you have.
Yeah,
and the contents of this saying are also related to the god of salt. To provide a haven for her people, whose lives had been ravaged by the Archon War, this benevolent god searched all across Liyue. At that time, with the chaotic fires of war engulfing the land, even one sliver of peace was a luxury. And that haven she eventually found is right here. Today, it is known as Sal Turai.
How sad then. In the end, this peaceful place was destroyed by Morax.
Okay, enough with these ancient stories. Now that we have the clue, hurry up and break the seal. Whatever happened doesn't matter as long as we can get inside that ruin.
Tianheng in the south, Yaoguang in the east, Jueyun in the west, Qingse in the north. With this clue, you should be able to solve.
Я уже понял как. Человечек замучил. Ну, я понял как. Вы немножко мешаете, ребят, честно. Че, и на воде меня кокнул, сволочь. О, я, кстати, первый раз нашел просто старый наконечник. Я обычно их сам крафчу. Прям повезло, что сказать. Так, и где они? Так, давайте. По идее, вот здесь должно быть. Да. Что-то у меня фишель много страдает. Тут ты не туда бьешь, ты дебил.
Cry out my illustrious name.
Что не понял? Я тут... А, подожди. Как я и говорил. Да вообще он красавчик. Классный пацан.
Now, it's time that people learn the hidden truth lost to time.
Сейчас этот нас предаст сразу просто. Можете не сомневаться.
Freeze! Cool it! Freeze!
Before entering the ruin, I have a proposal that will help us prevent the kind of senseless arguing between you two that we saw at Guyenstone Forest.
Такое положение.
Okay. What is it?
Давай.
I propose you to agree upon a contract, stipulating that we alternate who gets claim to each treasure we encounter.
Так, а нам что достанется,
With only
слышь?
one object permitted per claim. To show my sincerity, I won't be taking any treasure. This will...
Hey! Don't pass an opportunity like this up so easily!
I don't agree. I mean, you want me to split the treasure with this amateur
Значит, пошел нахер.
archaeologist? No, absolutely not.
I don't agree either. He will only defile the precious relics left behind by the god of salt. I can't accept this.
Well then, if the contract is not agreed upon, I will no longer serve as your consultant on this expedition.
Да уже понятно, что
You
нужно
will have to
всем.
rely on your own experience to find whatever treasures are hidden in this ruin, as well as traps.
You have the audacity to demand this. Okay then. Even half of the treasure in the long-sealed ruin of the God of Salt should be enough to make a fortune.
If you want me to agree upon this contract, so be it. I just have one request, Mr. Zhongli. If we discover the truth behind the God of Salt, you must judge it fairly, even if the truth harms Morax's image.
I can accept this arrangement. Well then, let's
Пойдем.
go.
Пам-пам. Это данж, да? Нет. Просто подземелье, слышь? Обычный причем. Винный. Ах, нифига себе. Так. А я, кажется, знаю, кто будет Гео. А вот Альбедо не захотел с нами играть, да? А мужичок-то будет. Этот наш Гео Архонт. Ой, кайф. Давайте вылечим. Кого-нибудь. 71. Что-то она очень быстро дохнет почему-то. Капец, смотри, как он бьет. Он управляет копьем. Где? Охуеть. Что он делает, интересно?
Are these statues?
No,
Что, две могу поставить?
these are people.
Погоди, давай подождем.
They were probably followers of the god of salt.
How did they become this way?
Да быстро откатывай, смотри.
What in the world is hidden deep in this ruin?
Две максимум. Подожди. О. Класс. Класс. О. Ну-ка. Вау. Нихера себе. С такими звуками еще. Подожди. Я понял прикол. Почему это из стены делаешь? Вот так вот. Четко. Специально, да, чтобы я не забрался? Да ёб твою налево. Ты что делаешь? Архонт.
Look at this. It's filled halfway with salt.
Just looks like a fancy salt holder. Seems like the god of salt was a god.
Соль — это главное его
According to my
монета.
knowledge, it's no ordinary vessel. Although it is only half full, it is also forever half full.
Да?
That is to say, it is
Можно продавать соль бесконечно.
What? You're saying that even if I pour the salt out, the amount inside won't change?
Exactly.
Able to produce endless salt. The god of salt is powerful indeed.
Finally, after all that effort, I've found precious treasure. I claim this as mine. I just need to pour the endless salt into 1,000 or 10,000 bags. I can sell it and make a fortune.
Hey, how can you use a relic of the god of salt for such a shallow
Ну-ка, ты
pursuit?
что собираешься делать?
If Mr. Clement wants this salt chalice, then the next object we find will belong to Miss One.
Смотри, какой хитрый.
Contract agreed upon.
А следующее будет интереснее, ведь
Of
вещица.
course, as we agreed. But how can anything be worth
Мне
more
кажется, там
than
будет вообще
this rare
капец
find?
классная вещь.
Since we have a contract, it's no use for me to fight with him.
Then let's move on, shall we?
Хитрый Джули. Кстати, ой, нет. Вау. Все золотые на 16, охереть. Мне нравится. У него 3 созвездия. Офигеть. Охереть. Извиняюсь, я залипаю немножко. Я хочу тебя, чел. И все твои созвездия. Ты просто лучший. Ну-ка. Вау. Все. Труп. Охереть. Ну. Короче, я понял. Далеко резонирует, кстати. Прикольно.
Just a simple ruler. It doesn't look to be worth anything.
А что это на самом деле?
If I remember correctly, this is some kind of measuring tool.
Indeed. But the god of salt imbued it with
Ну-ка, рассказывай. Член
When
длиннее
you
делает.
stick this ruler in the ground, the surrounding area will become covered in salt, much like a rising tide covers the earth. The deeper it is stuck in the ground, the more salt will appear. It is essentially a bumper harvest of salt.
What? That's even better than the salt
Да не
chalice.
особо. Ну, в принципе, одинаково.
Well then,
Ну,
according to our contract,
чаша поудобнее будет на самом деле.
No, unacceptable.
Тут сразу
I paid
высыпал.
for and organized this entire expedition. Why should
Высыпал
I get the short end
и
of the
сколько
stick?
надо сделал. И бесконечно.
And this girl has
Тут еще
been
подбирать ее
useless.
надо.
Why would she get anything?
Сейчас ты нарушишь контракт и хана тебе, понимаешь?
Oh boy, here we go again.
So you are saying you want to break the contract?
Да, все, хана тебе.
So what if I break it? Now that I've seen how the mechanisms in this ruin work, I no longer need you.
Все тебе
Let's not
хана.
forget who hired who here. Why should I
Ты понимаешь,
let
что
you
тебя
make
сейчас
the
изнасилуют?
rules?
Because you agreed to a contract. Rex Lapis once said, ones who break their contracts shall suffer the wrath of the rock.
That is one of your Liyue gods. I am from Snezhnaya. I
Will suffer the wrath of the rock. You may find it rather unpleasant.
Ну-ка, покажи ему давай. А, ты в додика превратился.
Nice and spicy. By royal decree.
dodge this. Don't get
Ну ты все, тебя хана. Мы тебя изнасилуем. Где ты? Ты в невидимости, что ли?
Let me read you a verse.
Самозванный археолог, козел.
I shall confiscate your treasure as well. You are not worthy to continue any further into the ruin. Leave this place.
Oh, darn you! Just you wait.
Some archaeological survey. He could only pretend for so long. Hey, Paimon likes Mora, but Paimon doesn't do bad things.
Потому что ты маленькая.
Clement's wrongdoing stemmed from greed, yes. But besides greed, there are many other things that may tempt us to break contracts. When people see the object of their dreams, how many are really able to control their
Прикол, если вот эта
desire and
девушка
follow the contract?
тоже окажется не
I think
археологом,
we should be honest with each other now.
либо поддастся чему-то.
Be honest about what?
That in truth, not a single member of this archaeological expedition came here for archaeology.
Why do you say that?
Miss, you lack even the most basic archaeological knowledge, and can recognize naught but a few simple relics. However, you are an expert when it comes to anything regarding the god of salt.
Колись.
You aren't interested in archaeology or relics. What you're really interested in
Может, и
is
есть
the
архон
god of
соли?
salt. I believe those legends about the god of salt that you mentioned on the Pearl Galley are passed down between generations at Yinyuan Hall.
Okay, that's enough. Sir, you are indeed a man of great knowledge and talents. I seem to have been right to seek you out once I plucked up my courage. You're right. I'm not a scholar of archaeology. I come from one of the 8 trades under the jurisdiction of the Chising, Yinyuan Hall of the salt industry. Our ancestors were those protected by the god of salt all those years ago, when the Archon War engulfed the land in chaos.
Oh, right! Now that you mention it, the people of Liyue very seldom use the name Morax.
During the war, Morax assassinated our god out of envy for her power. He left us alone and lost in the world. We hate him! But this is Morax's Liyue after all. And its history is written as he wishes. So I seek proof of Morax's guilt. He has blood on his hands and cruelty in his heart. We agreed to a contract that we will face the truth head on, didn't we, Mr. Zhongli? You must judge this history fairly.
Naturally, of course. But I must add, Liyue is no longer Morax's Liyue. Come with me. All the answers you seek lie ahead.
Явно что-то знает. Я только за. Дед. Классный дед. Классный дед. Мимо. Твою мать, как я классно упал. Сколько хп? 22 тысячи? Откуда? Ёпта. Господи, точно. Я забыл, что можно забираться на них. Сейчас я тупанул, честно. У него 22 тысячи хп, ребят. Сколько у этой бабы? 9. 22, ёб твою мать. Идеально. Ну, сундук обычный. А, он заодно задел. Ха, прикольно. Ёпта. Щиты. Нифига себе у тебя атака, ёпта. Налево. Какого уровня у тебя оружие, чувак? Ну, легендарное все, что ли? Охереть урон, просто охереть. Ну-ка, смотри. Прикол сейчас будет. Ха! Плохо. Вообще классно, мне понравилось с дедом играть. Выбить бы его еще как-нибудь, слушай.
This is a sword?
Ага.
It's a broken sword. This is proof. This proves that the god of salt had to fight back against the evil Morax. But sadly, she was defeated. The power of this sword surely is much greater than that of the Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler. If we can repair the sword, then we can show the world the mighty power of the god of salt.
It does look like something left behind.
Ну да, он
after being
сломанный.
defeated in battle.
Two pieces of a broken sword. From an archaeological perspective, these are two separate relics. According to the contract, you can only claim one.
Why? We were alternating claims to treasure, true. But Clement is no longer here.
Yes, but the only one object per claim clause still holds true. You cannot take two relics at the same time.
This logic!
Zhongli, she seems like a good person, and no one is fighting over the treasure. How about you let this one slide, huh?
When there's a contract, nothing can be allowed to slide. If the contract is not followed, then it is broken.
No! If I only take one half, then it can't be repaired, and the power of the god of salt cannot be restored. No matter what, I must be faithful to her. Even if it breaks the contract, I don't care.
So you are already decided?
Прикол, если она окажется кем-то
Price to pay for breaking the contract.
не человеком.
Zhongli!
Ты же ее не будешь
That
убивать,
is
да?
to say, you consign yourself to suffer the wrath of the rock.
That's okay. The god of salt gave up her life to protect her people. My sacrifice is
А вот
nothing
сейчас ее
compared
жалко
to
очень.
that. Punish me however you want. Just let me take this proof of my faith.
No, you can't hit her!
Бедные.
Perhaps that punishment would be easier for her. But as punishment, I will tell you the truth.
Huh? The truth.
Вообще-то это, мне кажется, была бы награда.
Yes. The truth that I am about to tell you shall be your price to pay for breaking the contract. I'm afraid to say that the god of salt, Havria, was not the powerful god you imagine her to be. Rather, she was a small and weak god who yielded to all other gods. When it came to war, she lost, never able to win.
What?
А за что убивать-то?
During the Archon War, the gods of this world used all their strength and cunning to vie for control of Teyvat. But Havria instead chose to flee. She thought that by giving up before a fight could start, she could save herself and her people from the war. However, during such a long war, there is no end to the advances of aggressors. After making countless concessions, Havria lost all of her lands, until only one small haven remained.
No! It can't be so.
In her last days, she had not even a single blade to defend her people with.
Not even a single blade?
Ну, этот меч.
Then... this sword...
This sword is not a relic belonging to the god of salt.
А, этим мечом богиня была
It is
убита.
instead the murder weapon used to kill her.
Murder weapon? No! That's not true! That can't be true! You're trying to test my faith in the god of salt.
As I said before,
Так, а ты не рассказал, почему ты ее убил? Она же контракта не заключала.
Preposterous! You are a follower of Morax. Don't try to trick me!
Hey! Come back!
indeed. Otherwise, why would I use the truth as punishment? I did not want to tell her such cruel facts.
Чё ты вечно улыбаешься,
The
блин?
contract was broken.
Главный герой.
Let's follow her deeper into the ruin. There, I fear, we will find something that will leave her
Пошли. Угу. Он цвет он земли, по-моему.
Are these statue thingies running?
Где мы здесь были? Или нет?
What will we find ahead?
Salt. And betrayal.
Предательство? Со стороны кого? Это она их, что ли, убила?
What are all these? What did they see? What did they do? What happened?
Since you do not trust me, let us continue onward. That which lies beyond this door will show you all that happened back then.
Ну-ка.
This is the scene of the crime. Havria's body dissipated, leaving nothing but these traces of salt. Her dying moments have
Так, а что это за тело, которое убило? Смотри.
to this very day.
Это же не он убил. Там статуя.
The story continues that some among her people realized at last that this gentle, kind but weak god could never protect anyone in wartime.
Так ее убили
The
люди?
Archon War was cruel in the extreme. Instead of consigning her to the agony of defeat,
Это был
they
человек.
thought perhaps it would be better to give her a quick release.
But what about these statue thingies?
Наказание, наверное.
No matter how weak the god, the power that flows forth when they are slain is beyond the strength of mortal coils to bear. Those who could not flee were thus transformed. Those of her people who were untouched by this disaster left for Liyue, where they sought refuge with Rex Lapis. Their descendants feared Havria's remnants and lived in terror that she had laid upon them an eternal curse. So they risked their lives to come here, to break the sword, and offer up obeisances in hopes that her anger might be appeased. But they need not have done so. For how could a god who had never once resisted, even till the end, nurse hatred for her people in her heart?
Even if this is so, I can't. This must be a lie. A false history, all of it. Don't you dare try to shake my faith.
Yikes. Zhongli didn't show any mercy this time either.
Но он молодец, что правду рассказывает.
This is the price she must pay. Yet I would not call it a bet, judging by how she appeared. I fear that she will struggle for a time. But even if she may not escape that struggle immediately. Indeed, in ages past, Havria's story served as a warning to me as well. Faith in a god who has already passed will do you no good.
Ну да.
So it is for Havria. And so it is for Morax also. All right then. Now, would you like to accompany me in taking
Да.
a trip to Guyonstone
Лучше бы ты
Forest?
остался со мной.
Huh? What do you want to do, Zhongli?
Treading old ground, telling old stories.
Да, расскажи, конечно.
One cannot help but be reminded of old acquaintances.
Так. Пока что повезло, что у нас есть телепорт, да? Там, наверное, опять надо будет вот это данжить и в будущем. Офигеть, еще мне обходить вот так вот. Ёпарасоте. О. Так, пойду. Здесь, правда, электрослайма. Мне дадут по голове, но я несу. Эх. Похоже, все-таки придется лезть. И очень-очень высоко. На самую вот эту каменную глыбу. Да, большие штуки Архон кидал в свое время. Прям очень большие. Как туда попасть теперь, хер знает. Ой-ой, тихо, 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 тихо. Долезть бы еще, слушай. Пока полюбуемся видами кораблика. Красиво солнышко светит, блики видно. Интересно, хотя бы один человек досмотрел до этого момента. Будет смешно, если нет. Так, место отличное, чтобы передохнуть, да? Или мы успеем до этой штуки долететь? Ну-ка. Идеально. Главное теперь не упасть. Эх, чё, ухнем? Да. Вау. Ну ты мне за все заплачешь. Я себе отдыхалку сбил. Пока лез. И в реальности, и так. Ну-ка, подожди. А как сюда залезть без тебя-то? Ты подкинь, пожалуйста, Джули. Подкинь меня сюда. Здесь даже прилететь неоткуда.
Now, I mentioned before that many gods of old have been sealed beneath the Gullion-stone forest. The Adepti have presently handed Liyue over to mortals, and Havria's time was even further in the past. The Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler that she left behind to leave them here is to let them slumber. And I ended an era with my own two hands. I've always wondered how I should remember that which I ended. History records, but history may be changed. This incident proved that. Time is a mighty force, and history's twist.
Нахера ты там сюда пошли, если в итоге не ты убил?
Way of recording history in order to engrave its truth. Stone carvings were one such ancient method, but unchanging stone, immovable earth, even one such as myself. Someday we may all disappear.
Zhongli.
Therefore, I thought of you, traveler. You are one who crosses the celestial atlas, and who passes through countless worlds. If our history is engraved in your memory,
понятно, он хочет передать мне историю, чтобы я знал правду и смог потом о ней поведать и даже написать.
Then a backup of sorts will exist for times and tides of Teyvat. Well, may you find treasure among the stars, even after you have left Teyvat. Now, I am the god of wealth, so I would think that my words have some weight here. Now then, it is time that we consigned both the Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler to the sea.
Подожди, а что он типа отобрал у нее? Теперь в воде будет бесконечная соль. И вода просто исчезнет в итоге.
Overlord of the Vortex, who the Jade Chamber most recently returned to this ocean prison. Thousands of years ago, the Adepti and I fought against the turmoil that plagued every corner of this land. Gullion Stone Forest, where I sealed many gods with my spears. After so long, naught but folk tales remain. Oh, sire, you and I were foes, but our ancient grudge is but a bygone memory now. May that which have
Спасибо, что показали его
has left
пупок.
behind be yours to subsume. And thus another spark of divinity departs from Liyue. My legacy shall now be left to those who come after to debate.
Блин, классный квест, на самом деле. Нет этих лишних боев с этими с додиками. Ну что, ребят, наверное, на этом закончим. Как говорится, всем счастья, здоровья. Я пойду, наверное, отдыхать, спать. Потому что мне тоже спать надо. Ладно, ребят. Всем пока. Как говорится, подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки, пишите комментарии обязательно. Можете ничего не делать, только писать комментарии. И, ребята, всем пока.